It had been a hectic day of visitors. Katie discovered that when you and your friends run in socks on hardwood floors, a lot of sliding happens. Orbie learned that when you have visitors, a lot of your toys come off the shelves and don't get put back neatly. That afternoon, after the visitors had gone home, Mom, Katie, and Orbie walked down to Mr. Singh's store to buy a bag of milk. When they got home, Mom put the milk bag into the fridge. There was still a little bit left in the jug. Then Mom looked into the living room, and Katie was sitting backwards on the couch with her feet up. She was reading one of her favorite picture books. Orbie was on the floor. He was drawing a huge dragon with a very happy face. Mom told Orbie it was a terrific big dragon. Orbie smiled and told Mom that one day he might grow big like the dragon. Mom agreed and tickled one of Orbie's pink polka dots. She explained that getting big had a lot to do with eating well and getting lots of exercise. And with a sigh, Mom picked up her book and curled up in the easy chair. After such a hectic morning, this was the perfect way to spend an afternoon. Orbie gave the dragon big red lips, and then he thought for a moment. He burbled to Mom, asking for a drink of milk. Mom looked up and nodded. She was about to get it for him when Orbie tooted. He wanted to get it himself, and Mom smiled. She was nice and comfy, and her book was really good, so she thought it was a wonderful idea for Orbie to get the milk himself. And she added, milk would certainly help him grow as big as he could. In the kitchen, Orbie used a chair to get a glass from the cupboard. He was really thirsty, so he took a big one. Then he opened the fridge. There was the milk jug. Orbie took it out and placed it beside the glass. Slowly and carefully, he lifted the jug up, and without spilling a drop, he poured the milk into the glass. He poured out all the milk and had filled half the glass. In a flash, Orbie slid a new full bag of milk into the jug and really carefully cut the corner off. Although it was hard with a full milk bag, he managed to fill his glass up to the tippy top. The glass glistened invitingly. Orbie set the jug back in the fridge and turned to his glass of milk. It was cool and tasted just right. Orbie drank the whole glass down. He sauntered back into the living room and continued working on his dragon. Katie was onto another of her favorite books, and Mom was snoozing with her book in her lap. As Orbie drew dragon humps on his picture, he thought about the dragon and how big it was. He wondered how big he himself could actually grow to be, and then he thought about his yummy glass of milk. It was at that moment that he put all the thoughts together. If he wanted to grow big, he'd have to eat well. Milk was good for him and would help him grow. In a flash, Orbie was back into the kitchen. He poured himself another glass of milk and drank it down. Katie wondered if Orbie wanted to play a game of dress-up. Orbie tooted that he really wanted to finish his great big dragon picture first. Katie nodded and picked up another of her favorite books. Orbie sat down and drew some big, strong legs on the dragon. Then he drew some little tiny trees to show how really, really big the dragon was. It was bigger than the trees. I guess Orbie was thinking that if the dragon was bigger than the trees, maybe he could be too. And that made him think of helping himself to grow up fast. And that made him think of the milk again. Now, I know it's hard to believe, but Orbie went right back into the kitchen and filled the same big glass with milk. He had to open a second bag. Because the glass was so big, he'd finished the first. After he drank, he thought he should check to see if he was any taller. In Katie's bedroom mirror, Orbie was sure he was. Later, as he dressed up with Katie, he was sure that the night's cape he was wearing didn't trail on the floor as much as it used to when he was shorter. Milk was making a difference. Although he wasn't too sure he had room for it, he headed down to the kitchen to have some more. As he hit the bottom step, he heard Mom call out, "What happened to all the milk? Was there a milk monster in the house?" Orbie chuckled and boldly strutted into the kitchen. He explained that he was the milk monster. He had been using the milk to help him grow. Mom and Dad always said it would. Mom looked at Orbie and then at the milk container. She couldn't believe that he had drunk that much. Orbie smiled proudly. Mom crouched down and held Orbie's hand. She explained that there was something Orbie had misunderstood about milk and growing. Orbie couldn't imagine what it could be. After all, it was working. Mom told him a whole bag and a half was too much milk. It was more than his body could use. To grow, he did need some milk, but he also needed lots of other foods to go with it. He needed things like vegetables, meat, eggs, bread, and fruit. Mom told Orbie that too much of even a good thing was not good for anybody, even him. She kissed his head. He would have to continue doing the good job of eating well that he had always done. Growing was happening all the time, and nothing, not even drinking a bag and a half of milk, was going to hurry it up. Of course, Orbie listened to Mom because she was smart and knew so many things. He made sure to eat a lot of different kinds of good foods. And he did grow. Maybe not as tall as the trees, but he grew up beautifully. And you'll grow up beautifully too if you eat a variety of good things. After all, you've grown a whole lot since you were a tiny baby. Look at the fabulous job you've done already.
Did you know? There are lots of different ways to make boats go. You can row, paddle, push with a pole, or put up a sail. You can even pedal some boats with your feet. Just make sure somebody knows how to steer.